Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Courtney Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking all about what mature men do that makes them stand out to women and what is incredibly attractive to women. I'm not talking about age or gray hair. I'm talking about how a man thinks, carries himself, and interacts with the world. These things signal a deeper kind of confidence and character that women notice almost immediately, often without even realizing it. The first thing here that mature men do is they don't try to impress, they just are. A mature man has nothing to prove. He's not throwing out name brands, flexing his job title, or turning every conversation into some sort of humble brag. He's grounded in who he is, and that inner calm is so magnetic. Instead of pushing for validation, he holds space. He lets others speak. He listens, not just to respond, but to understand. He doesn't need everyone to like him, and ironically, that's exactly why people do. Guys who are constantly on just come across as exhausting, even when they have good intentions. Women are drawn to men who let their presence do the talking. You don't need a script, you just need to know yourself. And I always like to remind you guys to focus on connecting rather than impressing. I know this can feel a little bit difficult to do, but trust me, it makes all of the difference. The second thing mature men do is they manage their emotions, not suppress them. There is a huge difference between bottling things up and being emotionally stable. Mature men don't deny their emotions, but they don't let them totally run the show either. They've developed emotional control. That means when something bothers them, they don't explode, retreat into silence, or become all snarky and annoying. They communicate clearly and calmly. Being able to say things like, that didn't sit right with me, or I'm just feeling a little bit off today without making it a total crisis, that is incredibly attractive. It shows maturity, self-awareness, and emotional leadership. Contrary to popular belief, women don't want a man who is emotionless. They want a man who can handle his emotions like an adult, not bury them or weaponize them. Emotional regulation is a skill that so many people lack. We can't control what happens to us all the time, but we can control how we respond and react to it. So if you work on anything from this list, let it be learning how to regulate your emotions. This is a crucial skill for a healthy relationship. The third thing mature men do is they take care of themselves without being obsessed with themselves. This one is huge and honestly pretty rare. Mature men take care of their physical and mental health because they respect themselves, point blank, period. That means regular grooming, moving your body and staying active, clean nails, fresh breath, clothes that fit well, even if they're very simple. It's not about designer brands or six packs or flexing. It's about looking like you take yourself seriously and that you value your own well-being. They also take care of their minds, whether that's reading, journaling, going to therapy. Mature men invest in their inner world too. And I think that balance is key, being well kept without necessarily being self-obsessed. The men who do this stand out because they look and live like they are in control of their lives. That is rare and it's attractive. Another thing that seems to be rare these days is a guy with a skincare routine. If you don't already have one, you can start with the help of today's sponsor, Theyre. Too many men aren't doing this, and it legitimately only adds a few minutes to your daily routine. Theyre simplifies the process. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing that you don't. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which comes with all of the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20, and a PM moisturizer. And this isn't something that you want to put off because prevention is key. Your future self with skin that looks better than every other guy who didn't take my advice will be thankful. Theyre wants to make it a no-brainer for you to get started on your skincare journey. And because Theyre is sponsoring this video, they're offering you guys an amazing deal. Just click the first link down in the description to get 40% off of your first skincare system and a free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll also get 20% off for life. I always like to mention their gift options, and one of them is this silicone body scrubber. I use one of these too instead of a loofah, and it is so much better. So click that first link down in the description and get started on your skincare journey today. Number 4, they're curious, not cynical. One of the clearest signs of emotional maturity in a man is his ability to stay curious rather than becoming cynical. Some guys, especially after a few bad dating experiences, start to shut down emotionally. They assume they have women all figured out and their mindset becomes jaded, like all women are the same or dating just isn't worth the effort anymore. I see this a lot online and in my comment sections. But here's the truth. That kind of bitterness isn't attractive. It doesn't make you seem wiser or more experienced. It just makes you seem closed off. And it's a turnoff. Women can feel it instantly. The sarcasm, the detachment, the passive-aggressive comments, they all send a message that you are not emotionally available or open to a real, healthy connection. On the other hand, curious men are a breath of fresh air. They don't pretend to know everything. They ask thoughtful questions. They listen without judgment. Even if they've been through tough experiences, they haven't let those experiences completely harden them. That openness shows strength, not weakness. Women are drawn to men who are mentally and emotionally engaged, men who make them feel seen and heard, not overanalyzed or judged. When a man stays curious, he's showing that he's present, self-assured, and still willing to grow. That is what makes someone stand out in the best way. Being overly cynical closes doors and curiosity opens them. Choose wisely. The next thing mature men do is they create calm, not chaos. This might be one of the most underrated but powerful traits in a mature man, his ability to create calm instead of chaos. In dating, that calm isn't just about being chill or laid back, it's about being emotionally consistent, stable, and trustworthy. A mature man doesn't play games. He's not hot and cold. He's not sending mixed signals or pulling away just to gain control. He doesn't create drama just to feel needed or important. He follows through on what he says. His words and actions match. That kind of stability is rare and increasingly rare in today's day and age, and it is incredibly attractive. But here's the deeper truth. Not every man grows up with this kind of calm. Some men were raised in environments where chaos is the norm, where emotional highs and lows were constant, where love came with conditions, or where being unpredictable was seen as powerful. And when that's all you know, chaos can start to feel familiar, even comfortable. But familiarity doesn't equal healthy. A mature man recognizes that. He's done the work to unlearn those patterns. He doesn't repeat the cycle, he breaks it. He creates a new standard for himself and for his relationships, one where peace, trust, and emotional safety are the baseline, not the exception. When you're around a man like that, you can finally exhale and take a deep breath. You don't feel like you're walking on eggshells or bracing for the next emotional storm. As a woman, you feel safe to be yourself, to open up, to build something real with this guy. In a world full of emotionally unavailable men, a man who brings calm is so unforgettable. He's not just attractive, he is a total life upgrade. So try to be that guy. Number 6, they're selective with their attention. One of the clearest signs of a mature man is that he doesn't just give his attention away cheaply. He knows that his time, energy, and focus have value, and that how he uses them says everything about who he is. Immature men scatter their attention everywhere. They're constantly in DMs, liking every post, flirting just to see who bites, or keeping their options open as a way to feed their ego. But when your attention is everywhere, it doesn't mean anything. It feels hollow, and women can sense that. No one wants to feel like they're just one of many on a rotating list. Mature men are different. They are intentional. They pursue with clarity, not confusion. They're not chasing validation. They're seeking real connection. When they show interest, it's not out of desperation, boredom, or habit. It's focused, it's deliberate, and meaningful. And that kind of presence makes a woman feel genuinely seen and chosen, not just convenient or like a temporary placeholder. Being selective isn't about being arrogant, it's about self-respect. A man who is grounded and emotionally secure doesn't need to prove his worth by collecting attention. He proves it by being discerning. And when a woman sees that you could be entertaining distractions, but you aren't, it sends a powerful message. I choose you not because I have to, but because I want to. And that focused energy is so rare. It's attractive, not because it's loud or flashy, but because it's calm, clear, and confident. And in today's world of constant noise and ego-driven dating, that kind of deliberate attention stands out in the best possible way, especially to great women. The next thing mature men do is they respect boundaries, theirs and yours. A mature man knows that real respect isn't just about what you say, it's about how you handle boundaries, both yours and someone else's. He doesn't guilt trip, manipulate, or push someone into doing something that they're uncomfortable with. If a woman sets a boundary, whether it's emotional, physical, or even about needing space, he honors it, not with resentment, not with passive aggression, but with grace, because mature men don't see boundaries as rejection. They see them as clarity, and they respond with emotional maturity, not their ego. And here's the part that often gets overlooked. Mature men have their own boundaries. They don't keep chasing after someone who is clearly not interested. They don't tolerate being disrespected, breadcrumbed, or treated like an afterthought. They walk away quietly with dignity, not drama. And that quiet confidence, it is powerful. It sends the message, I value myself and I value you, but I won't beg for a place in your life. That is the exact opposite of neediness. Neediness clings and convinces. Maturity observes and decides. A man with self-respect doesn't need to force connection. He lets it flow where it's mutual, healthy, and earned. Respecting boundaries isn't just about being nice or polite, it's about emotional intelligence. It's about knowing your worth and being strong enough to honor someone else's. And in a dating world full of blurred lines, unclear intentions, and emotional games, clarity is attractive. The next thing mature men do is they think beyond just themselves. One of the most defining traits of a mature man is that he doesn't just move through life asking, what do I get from this? He asks, what kind of impact am I making? Immature men tend to be very self-focused. They make choices based on immediate gratification without thinking about how their actions affect other people, whether it's in dating, friendships, or even in their careers. Their mindset is short-term. It's about instant gratification. It's what's convenient, what's exciting in the moment, not what is sustainable or meaningful long-term. But mature men think beyond themselves. They think beyond the short term. They consider the ripple effects of their behavior, how their words, choices, and presence impact the people around them. They take responsibility seriously. They think about the kind of partner, father, or leader that they're becoming, not out of pressure, but because they understand that real masculinity isn't about control, it's about stewardship. They act with intention, not impulse. They're not living just for now, they are building for the future. And when a woman sees that in a man, it immediately shifts the dynamic. He's no longer just fun or nice. He's someone that she could trust with something that is real, someone she could grow with, someone who has a vision. That kind of emotional maturity is rare and incredibly attractive because at the end of the day, great women aren't looking for someone to just pass time with. They're looking for someone to build a life with. And that starts with a man who lives with purpose beyond just himself. And number 9, they're present. In a world that is constantly pulling our attention in 1,000 different directions, presence has become rare and powerful. A man who is truly present, who puts his phone down, makes eye contact with you, and listens with intention, stands out more than ever before. He's not distracted, looking around the room, or half engaged in the conversation. He's not just waiting for his turn to speak. He is with you fully. And that kind of presence doesn't just make you feel heard, it makes you feel so important. Presence is more than just good manners, it's maturity. And that's because being present takes discipline. It requires self-awareness, emotional regulation, and a willingness to slow down. It also signals confidence. He's not anxiously scanning for something better. He's not chasing distractions to avoid stillness. He's comfortable enough with himself and with you to simply be there. That calm, grounded energy is magnetic because it creates emotional safety. It makes you feel like you can open up to him, relax, and actually connect. In a culture that glorifies constant stimulation and short attention spans, a man who is present feels different. He feels intentional, and that difference is not just attractive, it's kind of unforgettable. So those are some things that mature men do that make them instantly more attractive to women. And notice, really none of these things are about money, looks, or status. They're about how you think, how you treat people, and how you carry yourself. So if you're working on these things, you're not just becoming more attractive, you're becoming a better man. And that's kind of the whole point. So let me know down in the comments which one of these stood out to you the most, or maybe the one that you've already mastered or that you're working on. I would love to hear from you down below. If you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, also be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.